Hey guys, it's Amanda. Before we start today's video, I just want to say thank you. I never in a million years thought I would be getting one of these. Never. 100,000 subscribers. And it's all because of your support. I'm so excited to see what comes next. I appreciate you all so much. And thanks for sticking with me through all the awkward moments in the beginning and, well, now as well. I love each and every one of you. So, as many of you know, as an American living in the UK, I've experienced the pros and cons of living here and in the United States. I always get asked where I prefer to live, and the answer is always England. Now, does that mean that I dislike the United States? Absolutely not. I think it's a wonderful country for so many reasons, but for right now, for me, this is home. I have many reasons why I love it here, which I've spoken about in previous videos, but it's always nice to hear someone else's opinion. So today we're going to watch the top 25 ways the UK smashes the United States. And if you had to pick one thing that the UK does better than the US, what would it be? Put it in the comments.
I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 areas in which the United Kingdom totally triumphs over the United States. All right, let's get this out of the way. This list is meant to be a joke. I love the US and I love the UK. I'm not trying to start a war. This entire list is meant to be in good humor, so please, please, please don't take offense. #25. Displaying actual prices. In most US states, you don't pay the price on the product. You pay the price plus the tax. In Britain, the tax is included. #24.
Oh, yeah, that is something that annoys me so much now when I go back home. Like, I can't even remember what I did before I moved here. I guess I always just made sure I had a little bit more than what it actually was, because I can't imagine I sat there and calculated the exact cent for the tax. Or maybe I did. I don't know, but either way, I don't miss it.
Complaining. Nobody complains better than the British. Nobody. #23.
If it's sunny, not a cloud in the sky, it's way too hot out. Winds blowing, a little bit cooler, absolutely freezing. When it comes to the weather, I feel like there's, well, a lot of complaining, because I do it now without even realizing it. But it's just uniquely British, isn't it?
Documentaries. 2 words. David Attenborough. #22.
There you go.
Electric plugs. First of all, the voltage is higher. It's 220 versus only 110. But guess what? British plugs also have significantly better safety features. More power, more safety. #21.
Much better.
Bathrooms. In America, if someone wants to check if a stall is occupied, they just peek through the gap. In Britain, this would never work. There is no gap. #20.
At first, before he said anything, I was thinking, what on earth is better about the bathrooms here in the UK than in the United States? I didn't realize he meant the public ones. Yes, that crack is annoying. However, I do want to point out that you can only see like just enough to know that there's someone in there. Like, I don't want people sitting there watching this thinking that you can actually see the person in all their glory on the pot, because that just isn't the case, at least not in the restaurants that I've been in.
Roundabouts. The British obsession with these is warranted. Even the Mythbusters showed they were more effective than traffic lights. #19. Messing with France. As the British say, France is a beautiful country. The only downside is that it's filled with the French people. C'est seulement un blog. Nous vous aimons. Allons-y. #18. Having their flag put on other flags. Even a US state has the Union Jack on it. Hawaii. '17.
To be fair, that's probably because they've ruled the entire world at some point. Well, maybe not the whole world, but a lot of it.
Losing at their own sports. Britain invents soccer, that's why they used to call it that,
I have
and
heard
then
people say
can't
this
win at
before.
it. America invents basketball, and then can't lose at it. '16. Cops. On average, American police kill more civilians in 1 month than British police kill in 2 decades. 15.
That is a massive difference, obviously. But I think a lot of that probably has to do with the fact that US police all carry, whereas the British cops don't, unless they're like in special units. Or at least that has to be some of the reason anyway, surely, because that is unbelievable.
Electing third-party candidates. Okay, it's not like this happens regularly, but it definitely happens more than never. And that is exactly how often it happens in the US. 14. Date format. Smallest to largest. Doesn't that make sense? 13.
This used to drive me absolutely crazy when I first moved here. I was always writing, or more importantly, reading the date wrong. So I always had to double check when things were. And now that I've lived here for so long, I don't care. It says the same thing either way. So does anyone really win? Cue all the comments that say, yeah.
Understating things. During World War II, when Britain was being bombed almost constantly, Churchill referred to it as the unpleasantness. That just about sums it up. 12.
That is the best one so far. Probably because it's so true. I think I've said this before, but it's always like they never want to be a bother or make a big deal. So they're just so nonchalant about things. Their arm could be like hanging on by a thread. And they would say, just a little scrape. Nothing to worry about. Meanwhile, I'm like, but that one, I love that one. That is so true.
Cheaper real food. In the US, only fake food is cheaper. 11.
I know that used to be the case, but I think eating healthier now is way more expensive.
The metric system. They don't do it perfectly, but they definitely do it better. 10. Tea. In Britain, teas are small, hot, and lightly sweetened. In the US, they're big, cold, and stuffed with diabetes.
I mean, you can't really compare hot tea and iced tea because they are very different things and super good in their own right. Although, what is better? Tea in a kettle or from a kettle or tea made in the microwave? Now that is a question. Let me know your thoughts.
9. Playing the villain. If the bad guy isn't Russian, he's British. 8.
True.
Empire. Even today, the Queen is still the head of state in 15 different countries. 7. Rolling cheese. Only in Britain will you find a bunch of people chasing cheese down a hill. Cooper's Hill cheese rolling and wake. 6. NHS. In the US, people declare bankruptcy because of hospital visits. In the UK, you don't. As a note, the NHS is paid for by taxes, but even then, the US spends over $8,000 per person every year for healthcare, while in the UK, it's only around $3,000. 5. Marketing. Or rather, the lack of it. In America, they actually stop live sporting events for the sake of adverts. And let's not get started on infomercials or medication advertisements.
That is one thing I don't miss at all. Sometimes they would actually take up like 50% of like your show airtime. And to be honest, I guess it never actually used to bother me. It's only until I lived here and then I go back to visit and I'm like, what is this madness? It's awful.
4. Keeping calm. Just check the news coverage of Ebola. In the US, you would think the world was ending. In the UK, it was just another news story. 3. Taxes. For the Americans out there,
so much
in
easier
Britain,
here.
you have PAYE. It's how the government collects taxes, and it's incredibly convenient. As an employee, you don't have to fill out a single form, ever. In the US, the IRS could implement this system as well, but the tax industry is a huge lobby, so don't expect to stop filling out W-2 forms or 1099 forms anytime soon. 2. News. The BBC. Need I say more? As a note, the US has NPR, but nobody listens to that. It's not sensational enough. Let's get some CNN and Fox up in here. 1. Faster internet.
I think with the news, the biggest difference to me was the news here covers the world. like what's going on everywhere. Whereas most of the news stations in the States are just for that, for the country itself. So you don't get loads of all the bits of what's going on in the world, which is a shame. Which is why sometimes Americans don't always know what's going on.
Dear America, you invented this thing. Why does Mount Everest have faster internet than you?
Didn't expect that to be on there. So I'm assuming they weren't in any particular order because internet definitely shouldn't be number one. Something like the NHS should be. But anyway, overall, I thought that was an interesting list. You could tell it wasn't serious, just a bit of fun. But I did agree with most of them. The biggest one that's on the top of my list that they missed out is safety. I know there's crime everywhere. I'm very much aware of that. But the level of safety and security that I feel with my family here in the UK is considerably more than I do in the US. And the US and the UK are vastly different. But I love that. The British chase cheese down hills, and we pardon turkey each year. We're all off our rockers. That's what keeps it fun and interesting. But remember to leave any recommendations you have here in the comments, or head over to my Instagram and leave them there. And as always, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, smash that like button if that's what you're into, and I'll see you in the next video.